Every financial advisor in America, without exception, will tell you that to retire comfortably, you need at least $2 million. Some say $3 million. The most conservative estimates even push it to $5 million. These numbers are repeated in books, podcasts, retirement calculators, seminars, and even workplace HR presentations. They have been drilled into our minds for decades. From the moment we start our first job, there's a quiet, persistent message in the air. Work hard, save diligently, and don't even think about retiring early unless you're in the top 1%. But here's the truth. This advice is catastrophically wrong for the majority of people. Not slightly wrong, not off by a few percentage points, but wrong in a way that has a real measurable impact on your life. It keeps ordinary people chained to jobs they don't love, working long hours for decades, all under the illusion that financial freedom is reserved for the wealthy elite. Why is this advice so wrong? Because it optimizes for the wrong variable. Conventional retirement planning assumes you must maintain your current lifestyle in your current location indefinitely without working. It assumes your spending habits, your housing costs, your commute, your work-related stress, and your coping mechanisms will remain exactly the same. That is simply not how life works. Let's break it down. The problem with maintain your lifestyle thinking. Most retirement calculators use a very simple formula. Required retirement capital, annual expenses, years until death, for example. If you spend $70,000 per year today and expect to live for another 40 years, the calculation says you need $2.8 million. Add a buffer for inflation, health care, and emergencies, and the number jumps even higher. Suddenly, $2 million doesn't seem unreasonable. It seems almost inevitable. But there's a huge flaw in this logic. It assumes all of your current spending is essential. And it's not, think about why you spend the money you do while working. Expensive meals because you don't have time to cook at home. Clothing for work or professional appearances. Vacations planned around short time off, often costing a fortune. A car or commuting expenses because your job demands it. Entertainment to decompress after long, stressful hours. Now, imagine you no longer have that job. You no longer have a commute, deadlines, or obligations to impress a boss. Suddenly, most of those costs disappear naturally. You have time to cook healthy meals at home. You don't need a professional wardrobe. You can travel in the off-season when everything is cheaper. Your stress spending goes down. This is where the 200K principle comes in. If you optimize not for maintaining your current lifestyle, but for achieving freedom and financial independence, the numbers look completely different. You don't need $2 million to retire early. You need enough capital to cover your real expenses, not your inflated work-driven lifestyle. The psychology of overestimating needs. Why do so many people fall for the 2 to 5 million myth? Because our brains are wired to overestimate costs when making life decisions, especially about money. There are 3 key psychological biases at play. Anchoring. We anchor our expectations to current spending habits. If you spend $70,000 per year now, your brain automatically assumes you will need the same or more in retirement. The calculation seems safe, but it's anchored in work-induced spending, fear of scarcity. Financial planners, intentionally or not, leverage the fear of running out of money. The higher the number they give you, the more you save and the more dependent you remain on their advice. Social proof, everyone says you need millions. Books, podcasts, friends, colleagues, they all repeat the same number. You assume it's the universal truth without questioning whether it applies to your circumstances. Once you understand these biases, you start to see that the conventional narrative is not about your freedom. It's about the financial services industry optimizing for their profit, not your independence. The more money they convince you to accumulate, the longer they can charge fees, manage your investments, and sell you products. Rethinking retirement, freedom versus comfort. Here's the critical insight that Charlie Munger would emphasize. There's a difference between retirement for comfort and retirement for freedom. Retirement for comfort, maintain the same lifestyle, location, and spending as before. High expenses, long-term projections, large capital requirement. This is what the 2-5 million rule measures. Retirement for freedom. Cover only the expenses that truly matter: housing, food, health care, basic transportation, modest entertainment, while living in a location that suits your goals. Lower expenses, smaller capital requirement, achievable earlier in life. The second path is where the 200K rule shines. When you optimize for freedom, 200,000 invested wisely is enough to provide the foundation for a life where work becomes optional. The math behind 200K. Let's look at the numbers. Assume you invest 200,000 in a conservative, globally diversified portfolio of dividend-paying stocks, ETFs, and index funds. Target a modest 4% annual yield, combining dividends and safe withdrawals. That generates 8,000 per year, or roughly 666 per month. Now, in most American cities, 666 per month is poverty. And in many other countries, 666 per month can fund a comfortable middle-class life. This is the power of geographic arbitrage, the principle of moving to a location where your dollars go further. For example, Chiang Mai, Thailand, modern one-bedroom apartment, 300, 400 month. Food, 300 month. Private insurance, 100 month. Transportation, 50 month. Phone, 10 month. Entertainment, 100 month, 1,000 total monthly living. Your 666 per month covers most of this, with a small part-time income filling the gap. Lisbon, Portugal, one-bedroom apartment, 650, 850 month. Utilities, 100. Groceries, 300, 400. Healthcare, 40. Transportation, 50. Phone, 20. Entertainment, 100. 150, 1,200, 1,400 month. With 200,000 earning 8,000 year, a small part-time project or freelance work closes the gap. Medellin, Colombia, apartment 400, 600. Utilities 70, food 250, insurance 120, transport 60, phone 15, entertainment 101,000, 100 month. 200,000 is enough to cover most of this comfortably across dozens of countries. Your 200K grows further in purchasing power because the cost of living is significantly lower, and most retirement calculators ignore this option. Why this approach works. The reason 200K is enough comes down to three key principles. Lifestyle flexibility. By reducing housing costs and unnecessary expenses, you need far less capital. Geographic arbitrage. Moving to a low-cost location multiplies the value of every dollar. Investment compounding. Your 200K continues to generate passive income over time, allowing you to scale your lifestyle gradually without touching the principal. This is exactly the kind of thinking Charlie Munger advocates. Think independently, avoid herd mentality, and optimize for what actually matters. Most people are so focused on what they think they need that they overlook the much simpler, achievable path, testing the assumptions. Of course, this approach challenges decades of conventional wisdom. People immediately raise objections. What about health care? Many countries offer public or affordable private health care, drastically reducing costs compared to the U.S. What about inflation? By keeping investments in dividend-paying, inflation-beating assets, you maintain purchasing power. What about family and friends? Video calls, visits, and building local communities can replace proximity while giving you freedom by examining these objections. Honestly, the 200K principle still holds up. It's not a theoretical calculation. It's practical, achievable, and tested by thousands of people who've retired early through geographic arbitrage and disciplined investing. Psychological shift. Perhaps the biggest barrier is psychological. Most people equate retirement with wealth accumulation, not freedom optimization. They think more money, more security, more happiness, but in reality, More money in the wrong location only extends the timeline to freedom. Less money in the right location accelerates independence and reduces stress. This is a mindset shift that Charlie Munger constantly emphasizes. Focus on the variables you can control. Optimize for what truly matters, and don't be fooled by numbers that serve someone else's agenda. The bottom line: the 2-5 million retirement myth keeps people trapped in a cycle of work, consumption, and dependency. The 200K principle flips that narrative. It proves that with smart planning, disciplined saving, strategic investing, and lifestyle flexibility, you can achieve financial freedom far earlier than conventional advice suggests. If you're willing to question assumptions, embrace geographic flexibility, and invest wisely, 200,000 is not a limitation. It's your launch pad to freedom. You don't need decades of saving or multiple millions. You need clarity, courage, and strategy. In the next section, we'll explore exactly how Charlie Munger's investing philosophy guides this approach, and why optimizing for freedom, not lifestyle, changes everything. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's longtime partner at Berkshire Hathaway, has spent decades observing what truly separates the wealthy from the rest of the pack. One lesson he emphasizes repeatedly is simple in words, but profound in application: optimize for freedom, not lifestyle. Most people spend their lives chasing a lifestyle, the fancy car, the big house, the expensive vacations, and the professional wardrobe. They measure success by income, not by independence. Munger's observation is counterintuitive. If you optimize for lifestyle, you will likely never achieve true freedom. But if you optimize for freedom, a satisfying lifestyle follows automatically, often with far less capital than conventional wisdom demands. Let's unpack this principle and see how it directly applies to the idea that 200,000 is enough to make work optional, the fallacy of lifestyle-based planning. Imagine two people, both 30 years old. They earn similar salaries, live in similar cities, and have similar spending habits. One chooses to focus on lifestyle, a big apartment, a luxury car, frequent dining out, vacations at peak times. The other chooses freedom, frugal living, smart investments, and flexibility in location. If both retire at 65 under the traditional model, the lifestyle-focused individual will need millions more to maintain that level of consumption indefinitely. The freedom-focused individual, however, can achieve independence far earlier with far less capital. The difference isn't luck, it's a strategic mindset. Munger repeatedly points out that most people confuse wealth with freedom. Wealth is a number. Freedom is a state of being. You can have $1 million tied up in a high-maintenance lifestyle and still be a prisoner of your spending. Conversely, with 200,000 wisely allocated and a flexible lifestyle, you can live comfortably without the need for employment. How 200K fits into the Munger mindset. Here's the math through the lens of Munger-style thinking. Invest 200,000 in a globally diversified portfolio of dividend-paying stocks and low-cost index funds. Target a conservative 4% yield through dividends and safe withdrawals. Annual passive income, 8,000. At first glance, this seems insufficient by American standards, but Munger would ask the critical question: what are your actual needs? Most conventional retirement advice assumes you must replicate a high-cost, work-induced lifestyle. But if you focus on freedom, geographic flexibility, lower-cost living, minimal obligations, you quickly realize that 200K can cover your core needs in many parts of the world. This is the essence of Munger's principle. Optimize for what matters, not what others tell you matters. Geographic arbitrage, freedom amplified. One of the most powerful applications of Munger's principle is geographic arbitrage. By relocating to countries where your dollar stretches further, you dramatically reduce the amount of capital required to sustain yourself. For example, Chiang Mai, Thailand, Rent a modern one-bedroom apartment for $300, $400 a month, food $300, insurance $100, transportation $50, phone $10, entertainment $100, total $1,000 a month. Your $200K generates $8,000 a year, about $666 a month, and a small part-time or freelance income closes the gap completely. Lisbon, Portugal, one-bedroom apartment $658.50, utilities $100, groceries $300, $400, healthcare $40, transport $50, phone $20, entertainment $100, $150. Total $100, $400. Freelance work fills the remainder, $600, utilities $70. Insurance $150 when they enter. Injured K covers most supplements your lifestyle. Munger would note that the difference between $2 million and $200K isn't the absolute value of money. It's how effectively you use it. In high-cost American cities, $200K may feel insufficient. Abroad, the same $200K buys decades of optional employment, comfort, and stability, compounding freedom. Another key Munger lesson is the power of compounding, not just for money, but for freedom. If you invest $200,000 and target a 4% annual return, year one, $200,000 for $8,000 passive income. Year five, $200,000 grows modestly with dividends and reinvestments, potentially generating $8,600 annually. Year 10, $200,000, $220,000, producing $8,800, $9,000 annually. Munger emphasizes patience and discipline. Wealth grows slowly but reliably. By focusing on freedom-oriented goals, you maximize the utility of every dollar while allowing the compounding effect to do its work. This mindset is critical. Most people chase fast wealth or lifestyle upgrades. Munger would caution, don't let short-term desires undermine long-term freedom. Redefining wealth. In Munger's framework, wealth is not the size of your bank account. Wealth is the ability to make choices without being forced by circumstance. Can you choose how to spend your day? Can you travel without worrying about income? Can you pursue hobbies, passions, or learning without financial stress? If the answer is yes, you are wealthy, even if your capital is only $200K. If the answer is no, you may be rich on paper, but enslaved to your lifestyle. This is why Munger advocates optimizing for freedom first. With $200K, a flexible lifestyle, and smart investing, you gain control of your life. You can live comfortably, explore new opportunities, and experiment with side projects, all without mandatory employment. Real-world examples. Thousands of people worldwide are applying Munger's principles today. Digital nomads in Southeast Asia, individuals with $200K in investments live comfortably in Thailand, Vietnam, or Indonesia, working occasionally on freelance projects they enjoy. Expat retirees in Europe, Americans with $200K, invest in dividend stocks and live in Portugal, Spain, or Greece. They enjoy quality healthcare, vibrant communities, and moderate costs, achieving freedom decades before traditional retirement age. Remote professionals leveraging passive income, software developers, writers, or creatives, use $200K as a base, supplementing income with optional work. The result, freedom plus stability without sacrificing comfort. These examples show that Munger's principle isn't theoretical, it's practical and replicable. The combination of capital, discipline, and lifestyle optimization is all you need. Behavioral edge, discipline, and choice. Charlie Munger often emphasizes the importance of psychology in financial success. In the context of $200K and freedom-focused retirement, discipline, saving aggressively, and investing wisely during your working years builds the base capital. Choice. By deliberately choosing lower-cost living and freedom-oriented expenses, you magnify the impact of your $200K. Patience. Allow compounding and lifestyle flexibility to work together over time. Without discipline and intentionality, 200K can evaporate quickly. But with Munger's mindset, it becomes a platform for decades of optional employment and personal freedom. The counterintuitive lesson. Most people assume more money, more freedom. Munger flips this assumption. More money without lifestyle, control, more obligations, stress, and decision fatigue. Less money with freedom optimization, more independence, flexibility, and quality of life. This is the exact paradox that allows 200K to be enough. The secret isn't earning more, it's thinking differently. The psychological benefits. Optimizing for freedom, not lifestyle, also creates profound psychological advantages. You no longer tie your self-worth to your salary. You gain confidence knowing that you can sustain your life without employment. You can pursue meaningful projects without financial pressure. Your stress levels decrease, improving health and well-being. Munger would argue that these benefits, control over time, clarity of purpose, reduced anxiety, are worth far more than any material luxury. Key takeaways. Freedom is the ultimate goal. Focus on independence, not accumulating wealth for its own sake. Lifestyle costs are often inflated. Remove unnecessary expenses tied to work and stress. 200K is enough with the right strategy. Invest wisely, leverage geographic arbitrage, and supplement income with optional projects. Compounding works for freedom. Time plus discipline magnifies both capital and optionality. Psychology is critical. Behavioral discipline, patience, and intentionality are as important as money itself. By embracing these principles, you follow a Munger-style approach to life. Smart, independent, long-term thinking. You don't need millions to retire early. You need strategy, clarity, and 200K used effectively. One of the most overlooked and underappreciated strategies in wealth building and early retirement is geographic arbitrage. Charlie Munger, though not typically focused on travel or relocation in his investing writings, emphasized a principle that applies perfectly here. Maximize the value of your resources by optimizing the environment in which they are used. When applied to financial independence, this means choosing locations where your money goes further. If you want to turn 200K into a life where employment is optional, the geography advantage is not a nice to have. It's essential, the fundamental concept. Most financial advisors base retirement plans on maintaining a U.S.-centric, high-cost lifestyle. They assume you will live in New York, San Francisco, or another expensive city. You will maintain your current lifestyle and spending habits indefinitely. Inflation, healthcare, and other costs will follow U.S. averages. The result? They tell you that freedom costs $2 million or more, but Munger-style thinking asks a simple question: what do you actually need to live comfortably, and where can that money stretch the furthest? By combining disciplined investing of 200K with geographic flexibility, you can achieve freedom decades earlier than conventional wisdom allows. How geography changes the math. Let's look at the numbers through practical examples. Assume you invest $200,000 conservatively with a 4% annual return. That gives you $8,000 per year in passive income. In most American cities, $8,000 barely covers rent for a month, let alone food, healthcare, and utilities. Now consider a few low-cost, high-quality locations around the world. Chiang Mai, Thailand. Rent, $300, $400 month. Food, $300 month, mostly home cooked. Healthcare, $100 month private insurance. Transportation, $50 month for scooter rental or public transit. Entertainment MISC, $100 month. Total monthly expenses, $900, $1,000. Total annual expenses, $11,000, $12,000. Your 200K investment covers roughly 2/3 of this comfortably. The remaining gap can be filled with occasional freelance work, online teaching, or small projects. This setup allows you to live a comfortable modern lifestyle with optional work. Lisbon, Portugal. Rent $650, $850 month for a one-bedroom apartment. Utilities internet, $100 month. Food for a one-bedroom, a private combo, 40 month. Transportation, 50 month. Phone, internet, 20 month. Entertainment, 150 month. Total monthly expenses, 1,200, 1,400. Total annual expenses, 14,400, 16,800. Even in Europe, 200K combined with occasional income or side projects provides freedom from traditional employment while living in a culturally rich, safe, and modern city. Medellin, Colombia. Rent, 400, 600 month. Utilities, 70 month. Food, 250 month. Healthcare, 120 month. Transportation, 60 month. Phone, internet, 15 month. Entertainment, 100 month. Total monthly expenses, 1,000, 1,200. Total annual expenses, 12,000, 14,400. Your 200K covers most of the annual costs, and minimal additional income can close any gap. Medellin offers beautiful weather, a strong expat community, and a high quality of life at a fraction of U.S. costs. The psychology of geographic arbitrage. Munger emphasized rational decision-making over emotion. Many people resist the idea of relocating internationally, citing fear of the unknown, cultural differences, or distance from family, but freedom, as Munger would argue, often requires practical trade-offs, distance from family. Modern technology, video calls, social media, annual visits, can maintain relationships. For those with mobile careers or independent income, the trade-off is worth the decades of additional freedom. Cultural adaptation, spending time in a new country, teaches adaptability and resilience. Most people discover they enjoy new foods, weather, and social patterns more than expected. Quality of life, many low-cost countries offer better weather, walkable cities, stronger community connections, and lower stress levels compared to U.S. urban centers. The psychological benefits of living freely, control over your time, reduced stress, and abundant opportunities for meaningful work far outweigh the discomfort of initial relocation. The mathematics behind the freedom. Let's formalize the numbers. 200K invested at 8,000 a year. Monthly passive income, 666. Monthly expenses in Chiang Mai, 900, 1,000. Gap 234, 334 a month. Filling this gap is easier than most people assume. Remote work, teaching online, freelance projects, and digital content creation can easily generate this amount in a few hours per week. The key is that this work is optional, not mandatory. You are no longer a slave to a traditional job. Compare this to a U.S. city where 8,000 a year covers only 2-3 months of rent. The difference is staggering. Geographic arbitrage multiplies the effectiveness of your capital. The role of flexibility. Geographic arbitrage isn't just about finding cheap countries. It's about flexibility in lifestyle, spending, and mindset. Spending, reduce unnecessary lifestyle expenses, cook at home, use public transportation, avoid status signaling purchases. Location, prioritize places where your capital stretches further while providing safety, infrastructure, and community. Work, embrace optional income streams that supplement your base passive income. Munger would recognize this as rational allocation of resources. You are not constrained by society's norms of high-income success. You are designing a life around your values, real-life success stories. Thousands of individuals are already living the geographic arbitrage lifestyle. Digital nomads in Southeast Asia use 200K in investments to sustain themselves in Chiang Mai, Bali, and Vietnam, enjoying freedom and adventure. Expat retirees in Europe leverage modest investment portfolios to live comfortably in Portugal, Spain, or Bulgaria, accessing world-class healthcare and cultural experiences. Young professionals experimenting with location independence find that 200K is more than enough to cover essential living costs while working part-time on passion projects. These stories illustrate a Munger principle applied outside the boardroom. strategic thinking, and rational decision making outperform conventional assumptions every time, avoiding common pitfalls, ignoring taxes, research local tax laws. Many countries offer favorable taxation for foreign retirees, underestimating healthcare costs. Most low-cost countries have excellent public or affordable private healthcare systems. Compare plans before choosing a location. Lifestyle creep, even abroad, it's easy to inflate spending once comfort is established. Stick to the 200K plan and supplement with optional work if needed. Cultural isolation, join expat communities, language classes, and local clubs to integrate socially and reduce loneliness. Munger would remind us, prepare intelligently, plan for contingencies, but don't overcomplicate. The numbers already show 200K is enough with smart choices. Key takeaways. Geography amplifies freedom. 200K goes much further in countries with lower cost of living. Lifestyle optimization matters. Simple changes to living habits allow your capital to sustain independence. Optional work bridges gaps. Small, enjoyable projects supplement passive income without stress. Flexibility is essential. The more adaptable you are in location, spending, and mindset, the more freedom your 200K buys. The psychological benefit. Freedom brings reduced stress, improved health, and opportunities for purposeful living. Munger's overarching lesson applies. It's not about accumulating the largest possible portfolio. It's about using your resources intelligently to maximize freedom and life quality. With 200K, careful planning and strategic geographic choices, work becomes optional, lifestyle is comfortable, and freedom becomes a reality much sooner than most imagine. So far, we've established that 200K can genuinely fund early retirement and financial freedom if used wisely, especially when combined with geographic arbitrage. But having 200K is only the beginning. What really matters is how you deploy it, how you supplement it, and how you live. This is the ultimate lesson Charlie Munger would emphasize. It's not just about money, it's about intelligent allocation, risk management, and disciplined strategy, the investment foundation. The first step is making 200K work through investments that generate sustainable, predictable returns. The goal isn't to chase massive growth or speculative gains. The goal is stability and reliability, dividend-paying stocks. Allocate a significant portion of your 200K into high-quality dividend stocks. Look for companies with strong balance sheets, consistent earnings, and decades-long histories of dividend growth. A conservative 3-4 dividend yield can generate $6,000, $8,000 annually from 200K. While modest, it forms the baseline of passive income. Example, U.S. blue-chip companies are global dividend aristocrats. These stocks may fluctuate, but over decades, they offer consistent growth and income. Low-cost index funds complement dividends with broad market index funds. Munger himself emphasizes simplicity and efficiency in investing. Funds like S&P 500 or total market indices offer exposure to long-term market growth, averaging 7 to 8% historically. Keep expense ratios low to maximize returns. Even small fees can compound against you over decades. Geographically diversified assets. While 200K won't buy you international real estate outright, consider ETFs or mutual funds that invest globally. This spreads risk and ensures your capital grows in multiple economies, reducing vulnerability to U.S.-specific recessions. Key principle, treat 200K as a capital engine, not a cash reserve to be spent quickly. Invest conservatively, let it compound, and rely on income from investments for essential optional income streams. Even the best investments may leave a slight shortfall depending on your lifestyle choices. This is where optional income streams fill the gap. The beauty is that these streams don't have to be full-time. They can be projects you enjoy and control. Freelancing, writing, consulting, digital marketing, programming, or coaching. Choose skills you already have. Even 5-10 hours per week can generate $200, $500 monthly. fully covering minor gaps between passive income and expenses, teaching online. Platforms like VIP Kid, italki, or Udemy let you monetize skills from anywhere. Teaching English, specialized courses, or professional skills can add $3,000, $6,000 annually with minimal time commitment. Small online businesses. Digital products, print-on-demand services, or niche blogs offer semi-passive income, minimal overhead, scalable reach, and freedom to work on your own terms. Content creation. YouTube, podcasts, or newsletters focused on expertise or passion can produce long-term income. Even modest success can supplement your 200K baseline without becoming a stressor. Munger principle applied. Only take risks you understand and control. Avoid speculation for the sake of fast money. Instead, prioritize predictable, sustainable income that complements your investments. Lifestyle design. Investments and income alone aren't enough. Your lifestyle choices determine whether 200K truly provides freedom, frugal but comfortable living. Focus on what actually improves your quality of life: good food, safe housing, access to healthcare, meaningful experiences. Avoid status-driven expenses or high-cost luxury consumption. Housing choices. Rent or buy in affordable neighborhoods with safety, amenities, and community. In countries like Thailand, Portugal, or Colombia, $400, $850 a month often secures modern, comfortable housing. Transportation. Public transit, scooters, or modest used cars are sufficient. Avoid high-cost cars or long commutes. Food and nutrition. Cooking at home maximizes savings and health. Local markets often provide fresh, inexpensive produce. Occasional dining out is a treat, not a requirement. Healthcare planning. Select countries with affordable healthcare systems or private insurance options. Budget $50, $150 a month for coverage, ensuring you are protected without excessive cost. Entertainment and hobbies. Focus on low-cost, high-enjoyment activities, hiking, local travel, arts, language learning, cultural events, flexibility, and adaptation. Be ready to adjust your location, neighborhood, or spending as conditions change. Geographic arbitrage works best when mindset is flexible. Result: 200K combined with thoughtful lifestyle choices covers essentials and allows meaningful experiences. You gain time, freedom, and mental clarity. Rather than just money, risk management. Even with careful planning, risk management is essential. Market risk. Diversify your investments. Don't put all 200K into a single stock or country-specific asset. Keep a small cash buffer for emergencies. Currency risk. If living abroad, monitor currency fluctuations. Minor shifts may affect monthly spending, but low-cost living buffers most volatility. Healthcare emergencies. Insurance is critical. Ensure coverage is adequate for major procedures. Lifestyle adjustments. Have a plan for temporary additional income or cost cutting. If unexpected expenses arise, Munger would remind us risk is managed by knowledge, preparation, and rational action, not by fear or avoidance, the compound effect of time. The power of 200K is magnified over time. Even conservative returns compounded over decades create a financial engine that sustains independence. Consider 200K at $8,000 annual passive income, additional $3,000, $6,000 from optional work total, $11,000, $3,000. You can maintain and grow capital while living freely, even adding new investment streams over time, putting it all together. The final formula for making 200K work for freedom. Invest wisely: dividend stocks, index funds, and global diversification. Supplement income, optional projects, freelancing, teaching, or digital products. Live intentionally. Focus spending on quality, comfort, and experiences rather than status. Optimize geography. Choose locations where 200K stretches far enough to cover essentials. Manage risk, diversify, insure, and maintain flexibility. Embrace time. Let compound interest and disciplined spending work together. When done correctly, this strategy transforms 200K from a simple financial number into a passport to independence, freedom, and a life designed by your own choices. Charlie Munger's principle applies perfectly. It's not the size of your capital alone. It's how intelligently you use it that creates real-world results. 200K, when invested wisely, supplemented thoughtfully, and combined with intentional living, is more than enough to achieve a life where work is optional and time belongs to you.